On the night of 16 February, a shipment of heavy bombs arrived in Israel from the United States, including 900-kilogram Mk-84s, the Ministry of Defense of Israel said. This time, 1,800 such bombs were delivered. They are capable of penetrating thick layers of concrete and metal, creating a wide kill zone. According to the Ministry of Defense, more than 76,000 tons of military equipment, weapons, and ammunition have been delivered to Israel from the United States since October 2023.
The munition shipment that arrived in Israel tonight, released by the Trump administration, represents a significant asset for the Air Force and the IDF and serves as further evidence of the strong alliance between Israel and the United States. Israel Katz, Minister of Defense of Israel, in a comment to Israeli media.
At the end of January 2025, the President of the United States, Donald Trump, confirmed that his administration has lifted restrictions on the supply of heavy aerial bombs to Israel. They had been in storage for a long time, but we have lifted the ban of sending them, Donald Trump stated. A quick note that Israel bought these bombs. Previously, according to media reports, the Biden administration refused to approve their export to Israel for fear of devastating consequences.
Peace through strength. You understand that, right? It's called peace through strength. You know, they contracted for those weapons a long time ago in the Biden administration, and then Biden wouldn't deliver the weapons. But I look at it differently. I say peace through strength. They were sitting there. Nobody knew what to do with them. They bought them.
And Donald Trump also said that the U.S. would support any move by Israel on the ceasefire agreement in the Gaza Strip. Particularly, the White House has authorized Israel to conduct further hostage releases on its own, and the President of the United States threatened Hamas with a tough, forceful response after the group said it would not release 3 hostages. United States officials say it was Trump's threat that caused a terror group to backtrack on its own decision not to release the hostages.
The reason I made that statement because they said they weren't going to deliver, they were not going to deliver the people that they said they were going to deliver, that they agreed to deliver. And they did agree to do that, but they broke that agreement. When I made the statement, they delivered everybody plus an American. Now the good news is they look like they're in pretty good shape because the people from the week before didn't look like they were in good shape. They looked like Holocaust survivors, frankly. Horrible. Whatever happened to them was...
On 16 February, the U.S. Secretary of State met with the Prime Minister of Israel. They discussed the situation in Gaza, Lebanon, and threats from Iran. Marco Rubio assured Israel of the unconditional support of the United States.
Behind every terrorist group, behind every act of violence, behind every destabilizing activity, behind everything that threatens peace and stability for the millions of people who call this region home, is Iran. And by Iran, I mean the Ayatollahs. By Iran, I mean its regime. A regime who, by the way, its people don't support. The people of Iran are victims of that regime.
President Trump is the greatest friend that Israel has ever had in the White House. And the visit in Washington reflected that in every way. And your visit here reflects it in every way. Today, Secretary Rubio and I had a very productive discussion with our staffs on a number of issues. None of them are more important than Iran. Israel and America stand shoulder to shoulder in countering the threat of Iran. We agreed that the Ayatollahs must not have nuclear weapons. And we also agreed that Iran's aggression in the region has to be rolled back.
Israel has repeatedly threatened to strike Iran's nuclear facilities. According to the International Atomic Energy Agency, Tehran already possesses enough uranium reserves to build a nuclear bomb. The head of the Israeli government said that over the past 16 months, Israel has dealt a powerful blow to Iran's axis of terror and promised that with the support of the U.S. president, the work would be completed. Reported by Alexandra Zaslavets, Kristina Dombrovska, UATV News. Since January 19th, a ceasefire agreement has been in effect between Israel and Hamas. According to the UN, at least 653 trucks carrying humanitarian aid have entered Gaza during these days. They brought food, water, medicines, and clothing. Due to the fighting, many local residents have lost their homes or were forced to evacuate. 10 camps have been set up for them.
Funding is an issue. We need immediate funding to make sure that we continue providing the aid for the 42 days. We need to buy tents. We need to buy other humanitarian aid.
Locals in Gaza Strip are already attending prayer services, but even now, during the ceasefire, incidents are still happening. In several areas of Gaza, Israel Defense Forces soldiers opened fire on armed people approaching them, after which the attackers retreated.
When you have such a ceasefire, you need trust between the sides. None exists. We're working in a situation of zero trust. So they will look at each other's side where they're going to violate it, and when there is a reason to resume. Then you need consensus, or at least critical mass within their own society to agree with this agreement. I think in Israel there is a majority. I think the Palestinians are relieved to see at least the end of the bombardment.
After 15 months of intense fighting, Israel has significantly weakened Hamas. Many of the group's leaders and a large number of militants have been killed. However, according to the Wall Street Journal, Hamas has already begun to recover.
What happened in the last 15 months radicalized large parts of that. Because of the way that Israel conducted the war, Israel had the right to go after Hamas. After what happened on 7th of October, it had the right to go after Hamas. There was a casus belli, reason to go to war. It's the way that it happened, the amount of civilian casualty. So we see that Hamas recruits young people to join its ranks. Because the way that Israel wanted revenge, now they want revenge on the way they will revenge. And this vicious cycle.
As part of the first phase of a ceasefire, which will last 6 weeks, 737 Palestinian prisoners will be released from Israeli jails, and 1,167 residents of Gaza who were not involved in October 7th Hamas attack on Israel will be freed. In return, Hamas is expected to release 33 out of 98 hostages. Hamas already freed 4 women, including both military and civilian individuals, and after it, according to the Times of Israel, the second phase of exchange will take place. Reported by Alexander Zaslavets, Nikita Skoblikov, UATV News.